Well, this Thursday, the House Select Committee on the January 6th storming of the Capitol will finally be presenting the evidence it's collected over the last year. So I thought I might share a few of my thoughts, my fears, but also my hopes and dreams for what we will be seeing over the 6 hearings. The first one this Thursday in prime time. Now, when I say prime time, I don't mean just on C-SPAN, exciting as that would be on its own. I'm talking about MSNBC, CNN, and, well, NBC. Take down Law and Order. Okay, that sounds like a Well, I was wrong. NBC is carrying the hearings, as are ABC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, and the Tennis Channel, but not Fox News. Also, the following night, you'll be treated to some misleadingly edited highlights with snarky comments from Fox commentators. What's really going on here is that these are clearly Black Lives Matter rioters sent by George Soros. But let me tell you, the stakes couldn't be higher. Maryland Congressman Jamie Raskin, a member of the Select Committee, said a few weeks ago that the hearings will, quote, blow the roof off the Capitol. Now, just to be absolutely clear, Raskin is saying that the hearings will blow the roof off the Capitol metaphorically, not that the rioters had planned to blow the roof off the Capitol. After all, they were in the Capitol, viciously beating up the Capitol Police and smearing their feces on the walls and the statues. The last thing that they would have wanted is to have the rotunda collapse on themselves. Now, let me tell you who you're going to hear from and what you're going to be hearing. You're going to hear from people who were near Trump as he was planning what he wanted to have happen that day. You'll hear from witnesses who will testify that Trump expressed giddy pleasure when he heard that his supporters were calling for his vice president, Mike Pence, to be hung from a crude gallows hastily erected on the Capitol lawn. That hanging, according to the Republican National Committee, would have fallen under the category of legitimate political discourse. And when they're questioned, will we learn if Trump thought hanging the vice president was just a cool idea, or was he the one who came up with it? The idea of Mike Pence taking his last breath as his neck is snapped in two in a hangman's noose, ending his life. That would be exactly the kind of bombshell I'm looking for. You'll hear testimony from members of the Oath Keepers, 3 of whom have pled guilty to seditious conspiracy. Not a surprise, since the Oath Keepers' oath is, I solemnly swear that I will overthrow the government of the United States. Congratulations, you're an Oath Keeper. My hope is that we learn exactly with whom these Oath Keeper conspirators conspired. Roger Stone? There are photos of Stone being accompanied by Oath Keepers, escorted by them on January 5th and January 6th near the White House. But Stone has claimed that he didn't conspire with them. Then again, we know that Roger Stone is a convicted liar. Congressman Raskin did say this was not a coup directed at the president. It was a coup directed by the president against the vice president and against the Congress. You will no doubt hear from witness after witness that the president was told repeatedly that he had lost the election and that he knew full well that he was perpetrating a fraud upon the American people. Some of the witnesses will appear on videotape, very likely his daughter Ivanka, who testified to the committee that she, along with several others, tried for hours to get her father to record a video telling the rioters to leave the Capitol. And we know that he did shoot a number of takes that his team immediately rejected.
I know your pain. I know your hurt. And I understand that this was an incredibly fraudulent election. It was a lie.
Sir,
They stole it from us,
sir.
and we all know it. And you need to leave, but you shouldn't.
Sir, no.
I want to update you on the following news. Nancy Pelosi still hiding in the Capitol building. We think she's on the 3rd floor.
Cut! We will hear from those who were around the vice president when Pence vehemently refused to allow the Secret Service to remove him from the Capitol because he believed they were following Trump's orders to take him away so he couldn't certify the election for the rightful winner, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. It took Trump's team in the White House over 3 hours to finally convince him to tell the rioters to leave the Capitol and stop beating up the Capitol Police and not to hang Mike Pence. How disappointed was he when he finally realized that the vice president was not going to be hanged? That would be fun to hear from Jared Kushner or Don Jr. The big question, of course, is where does this all go from here? Do the hearings make it clear that Merrick Garland has to prosecute your Mark Meadows, your Roger Stone, your Donald Trump? But for treason? Probably not. Jailing a former president would be controversial enough, but the penalty for treason is death. Executing Donald Trump would be a terrible idea, and let me tell you why. No matter what we hear during these hearings, no matter how clear the evidence that Donald Trump is a traitor, somewhere between 40 and 60% of Republicans are still going to believe that he won the election fair and square. And there's no telling what they will do if we hang Donald Trump. So, tune in Thursday. It's going to be great viewing. One last thing. After I shot this, the Proud Boys were indicted for seditious conspiracy, and a documentary crew shot the leader of the Proud Boys meeting with the leader of the Oath Keepers in an underground garage. But the bottom line is we all know that Donald Trump was guilty of conspiring to overturn a legitimate democratic election. Enjoy the hearings.